Ha! Hey everyone, how's it going? Hassan here. I got a special Resha Sentai ToQger review for you today. We're kind of winding down. This might be one of the last ToQger reviews that I do, and this one's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be in front of the camera a little bit because this thing is huge, and it's hard for me to show it to you with the camera, just, you know, like me behind the camera and stuff, because it's not going to fit. You know, especially when I get to the final combination, it's massive, and I cannot just show you normally, so I kind of have to be in front of the camera and show you what it's all about. So this is it. This is what I will be reviewing. What is it, do you ask? Well, let me put this to the side for a second, and we'll take a look at the box. Well, this is the, I always forget all the names, so that's why I'm trying to look for it. It says it on here, I think it's the Deluxe there we go. Deluxe Hyper Resha Teo. That's what it is right there. So, this thing is massive. This is like one of their final combinations. This is, you know, the big final combo for ToQger. So there's a bunch of different modes that this thing has. The box itself is pretty huge, as you can see. So it's got a train mode. It's got a mode where you can transport the trains on top. They sit on top. It's got like a Megazord mode kind of right there. And it's got a final combination mode right here with all these Resha on top like that. So I will show you all of that fun stuff. But you got your typical stuff on the sides. It shows you, you know, all the modes right there. This one tells you all the Resha that you use for the final combination. This side tells you the modes again. And there's the top right there. You got Hyper Tokyo Ichigo right there. So pretty cool box. You know, it's pretty huge, pretty cool. And I will keep this over here so I can remember what Resha goes where, because it's a lot to remember. So this is it right here. This is the Deluxe Hyper Resha Teo. And it's pretty huge. The first thing that I will show you is the actual Hyper Resha itself. I did get a Hyper Resha with the little blaster here, if you remember that review. So I'll kind of take out the Hyper Resha and do a little comparison. So let me kind of zoom in here. So what you're looking at is, right here is the new one, the one that came with the Deluxe Hyper Resha Teo, and this is the one that came with that blaster. So the difference is, they look almost exactly the same. The paint color is very similar. If anything, the Deluxe one has a bit more of a solid color paint, if that makes sense. A bit more, a bit shinier, I guess. It's a bit more bold. It kind of stands out a bit more, you can see, the one right here. But otherwise, they're the exact same Resha in terms of the actual sound and everything they make. The other difference is the Deluxe one also like twists around, and this one folds here because you're going to need it for different combinations and stuff. So that's the difference there. So in case you're wondering there. So if you wanted the Hyper Resha and you didn't want any duplicates and stuff, you don't need to buy the actual weapon, the bazooka thingy. Forget what it's called. There's the Daikaiten Cannon, I think that's what it's called. So you don't need to buy that for the Hyper Resha. This guy comes with it as well. But this guy is also very expensive. So do keep that in mind. I'm not going to say specific prices because it all varies depending on where you buy it and what, so, but it's pretty pricey. So there's that. And then, we'll take a look at that further in a second. Actually, you know what? I'll just quickly show you some basic sounds that it plays in the Morpher here, in the Tokyo Changer. All right. And you could, of course, henshin into any of the ToQger and then use the Hyper Resha to become Hyper Tokyo Nigo, or, you know, any of the other ones, basically. So I'll push the Resha sound one. And, of course, you can swap Resha as well. Let's do Build Resha. So there you go. So that is the sound that it makes in the Tokyo Changer. Again, it makes the same exact sounds as the other Hyper Resha that you could have gotten with the Daikaijin Cannon. But obviously this one is the deluxe one because it will combine with all this other stuff. But this is it. And this thing is it's pretty heavy. If you drop this on your foot, it will hurt. And it's pretty massive, as you can see. This thing is big. So here is like the train mode. And it looks pretty cool. I actually do like this design of the train. I think it looks pretty sweet. Very nice like gold color that they used. It's really shiny and metallic. And it really stands out and it looks pretty cool. I do like that as well. So yeah, pretty cool looking. The only parts about it, the front part, I wish maybe this might have been like pushed outwards a little bit more, because like looking at it like this, you wouldn't know that it's a train. But if you look at it like this, you're like, oh, I get it. Or if you see the wheels, you know, you're looking at it up top, you wouldn't really know until you kind of see the wheels and you see the front of it a bit. So if this was kind of pushed out a bit more or something, made it a bit more defined as a train, that would be kind of cool. And also in the back here, you have these weird gaps. I can stick my fingers through there, you know. So that part is a little weird from the back. So that's just, you know, one other little thing about it. Other than that, though, I do dig the design. It definitely looks pretty sweet. So some very nice, you know, paint and everything up front. Some nice silver right here, and some really nice gold that they use. Very shiny throughout the whole thing. Some nice metallic red right there as well, which is pretty cool. On the side here, you know, you got these wheels. These do not rotate or anything, so they're just solid pieces here just for design. So there's that. But, you know, it's a cool design. You got like little blasters up top right there. Oops, and now the blaster is coming off. The bottom, the only wheel you have is like one little wheel here and two right there. So there's the back. Does it really roll? Yeah, it does. You know, even though, I'll kind of show you guys. Let me tilt the camera down a little. It does actually roll pretty nicely. So even though there's only those tiny little wheels, that's all you really need, even though this thing is pretty massive. So it actually does rotate pretty nicely, or rather roll pretty nicely. So that's pretty cool. I do like that. This train thing is great. I feel like as I continue throughout this video, it's only gonna get worse. So just keep that in mind. The combination, the final combo, I'm not really a big fan of. So just keep that in mind as we kind of continue through this video. But this thing itself, I think looks pretty cool. Definitely pretty sweet. So they actually have the combo. Ooh, it kind of spins too. Whee! Anyways, they actually kind of have the combo with the Hyper Resha just kind of sitting up top. It doesn't click in or anything. It just kind of has a little bit of a space there where it just sort of sits on top like that. So there is your actual, you know, combination right there. That's what it looks like. Okay. So one thing that you can do is you can actually transform this to like the Megazord mode. And it's actually quite simple. First thing you do is you take your deluxe Hyper Resha, and then you flip this part open like that. Okay? So you see the helmet kind of sticking out like that. So this part flips up. So it's like this, flip it up, done. All right, you want to see this complex transformation? This one's a little tough. All right, you guys ready for this? Here's what you do for this transformation. You move your hands around it like this, and you lift it up. Boom. There you go. Magic, just like that. And then you just stick this thing right up top. Bam. You have now transformed it into its little Megazord mode right here. So yeah, I'm just joking around. This is very, very easy, obviously. And it's a block. It doesn't really do anything. It's a block. It doesn't move very easily. It's a block. That being said, it's a cool looking block. I really do dig this design. I wish it weren't as blocky and I could do more with it, but I think the design itself is pretty cool. Just from the helmet to the chest piece, everything about it. And you can actually move the arms out like that. So you do have some little hands here, kind of like that. So that's kind of cool, like that. I mean, the ToQger mecha has so far been known to be quite blocky, so this just kind of continues that and is literally like a block, like boom, there it is. But it's still pretty cool. I do dig this design. I think it's kind of neat. So anyways, there's that. Let's take this guy off and we'll transform him back and lay this down. There you go. So the next mode that you can do is there's actually like a little a clip right here, like a little thing that you hold down, and when you hold this down, you can essentially, which way does it go? This way? Or I think it goes, yeah, there we go. So you hold down this piece here, and then the lever, And while you're holding it down, you flip this all the way till it's flat, like that, okay? Now once it's flat, you're gonna take these arms right here and pull them outwards till they click just like that. All right, and there you have the next mode for this device here. And it's pretty big, as you can see. This thing it's pretty huge. It kind of rolls, because there are some wheels at the bottom here, but then this chest piece doesn't really have wheels, so it rolls a little bit, but the back piece is like stuck right there, and it's probably going to drag along, so it doesn't really truly roll. Let me kind of set that in place. Okay, so here's what this mode does. This mode is meant to be like a transport for the main ToQger Resha. And so essentially what you can do is I can take the red Resha right here, and he just lines up right in the middle, just like that. And then you got the blue one right here. Okay, and green goes right in there. Okay, and we got pink here. They just sit in place. They're not clicking into place. There's nothing. It just sits right in place, just like that. And then this is, oops. Now that I'm trying to hold this for the camera. So this is this mode right here. And the idea is this is like a transport train almost for the other train. So you kind of have, this little thing here. And I guess it's kind of neat. I like the concept of it. In practice, it doesn't really work too well because you're trying to drive this down here. The thing is so massive, like the red Resha is floating above the rail if the rail continues down there. So it doesn't really work like that. Now, if you had a smaller Resha, you could play and be like, oh yay, it drives down the little ramp, and that kind of works. But the bigger ones, not so much. I suppose, though, it does look kind of cool as a display. I do like that feature, and I like how it looks with it all on there. So that is kind of nice. And of course, you can display whatever Resha you want on here, and there's all this playability with that, I guess. There are no lights and sounds on the Teo, by the way, so just FYI in case you were wondering. So that's kind of a disappointment. As big of a brick as it is and as expensive as it is, I would have hoped it would have had more, but unfortunately, nope. So anyways, let's move those guys out of the way. Okay? And now it's time to get into the final transformation mode. I'm going to have to take a look at this box here real quick because I always forget what Resha goes where. And essentially, here's how it goes. In the middle here, you have these little levers here. So I can pull it, and this part pops out, as you saw. So I pull this, and these popped out. And then I pull this, and these ones popped out. And the idea is now that these things are popped out, I can actually take a Resha, I'm just gonna put a random one here, and they click into place now. It's clicked into place. Now, if I had this down, they don't click, they just sit there. So that's the idea. You can use this, and you click the Resha into place like that. So the way that this one works, the design they went for, you're gonna need the 5 main, Resha. So I'm gonna uncouple them from the long pieces. You only use the small little pieces, not the full Resha. So that is one of my disappointments with this final combination, because I feel like there's a lot of missing pieces. I imagine a final combination to be everything combined. In this show, this combination, it's all of the individual Resha attached onto this giant block. That's the final combo, really. So anyways, so you got your red Resha, which goes right in the middle up top like that. Then you got blue and green, kind of in the same places they were before, but now they're facing towards this side, and it's just the small little pieces there. Yellow slides in up top right there, and pink right there, okay? So that's where those ones go. Now you're gonna need a bunch of the other Resha as well, so I have a whole bunch here. You're gonna need tank and the car carrier Resha, so you got those two. So the tank goes underneath green, clicks in right there, and the car carrier goes underneath blue, clicks in just like that. Then, underneath the pink, you're gonna have the build Resha, so this kind of clicks in like that. And underneath yellow, you got the diesel Resha, like that. Then you're gonna need the police and fire Resha right here. So the police Resha goes next to car carrier kind of, but it's gonna go a little bit more to the side right there. And the fire Resha goes next to the tank, but off to the side. And directly beneath these guys, you got the drill Resha, which goes behind the tank. Oops. And you got the shield Resha, which goes behind the car carrier. Boom. So this is that final combination here with all these Resha on it. You do not use the energy Resha or the scope Resha, which I suppose makes sense because I'm so behind on ToQger, but from what people have told me online, these are not actually used in any combinations on the show. These were just used for like their weapons and stuff, so I suppose that makes sense. They're only using the Resha that actually combined in the show. So I guess I follow that logic, but at the same time, I'm quite disappointed that you're only using only these small individual Resha and not the full trains, because it would have been so much cooler to have these giant massive trains all combined to make something even larger. But it's very colorful, as you can see. It looks pretty cool. And this mode, I think, looks pretty neat. If you're just going to display it like this, the one odd little piece is you imagine the ramp as like where the Resha would leave downwards, but they're all facing the opposite direction. And unfortunately, that's the only way they're going to clip, because that's the direction the clip goes. You can't clip them in the opposite direction. I mean, you could sit them down and have it on display like that, but they're not actually going to be clipped unless you clip them facing in that direction, basically. So that's the difference there. And now, what you do with this combination is you hold down this little gold button here, and you lift this up until it's flat, and then you sit this up like that. So now I can adjust the camera again here. So as you can see, this thing is going to be massive. This thing is pretty huge. It still doesn't even fit in the camera completely. Let me adjust it a little bit more. It's really hard to get all this stuff to fit on camera. Then this piece here goes down like that, okay? And then what you're going to do is on the back side here, you have the chest piece faced like this. So you're actually going to rotate it so it's facing this way, and then fold it up. So I'll kind of turn around. So you're folding it up, so you have, and now I'm dropping all these Resha. So these guys are not, I mean, they're locked in place, but like if you give them any little bit of pressure downwards, they're gonna fall off. So that is another little flaw of this thing right here. You gotta be careful with that. So anyway, so you have this thing folded up like that, right? And then what you're gonna do, I gotta like lift this up even more. It's hard to, I can't even show it all on the camera. You're gonna take your deluxe Hyper Resha and you're gonna fold or rotate the back piece downwards like that, and it's going to connect in like so. So it kind of connects and sits right on top like that. So let's just kind of get a zoom in on this whole thing, and I'll try and show you guys up close what it looks like. So here is the actual top of it, the helmet piece and everything. It looks kind of lame, to be honest. I think the face looks squished inwards. Not really a big fan of the way that this helmet thing looks. I think it looks a little odd to me personally. And then as I kind of pan up, you'll just see all the little Resha and everything. So it's very colorful because you have all the different Resha pieces for sure. Very colorful, and then there's like the feet. So as you can see, this is truly a block, essentially. I can't really even fit this entire thing in the camera. Let me see if I can get it. There you go. So it really is like a block. And the design of it, I am just not a fan of this design. It just looks so odd. Like, it's like, I feel like I'm looking at the insides of the machine. Like, this is supposed to have something on top, and I ripped it out, and these are its guts in all different colors. Like, it just looks so empty here. Like, they could have done so much more with it. Like, use all the extra pieces left over somehow, you know? Like, make something more complicated. And it's a giant brick. It does not move. It just stands like there, just like that. So the size is impressive. It's definitely has a nice weight to it, and it's pretty huge. It's definitely pretty cool in that sense, but in terms of the actual design, not a big fan. So these are supposed to be the arms right here, so you can move these, you know, all the way around if you like, or whatever. So you can kind of pose it like that and have them doing that. And the only other thing that you can do is these little blasters down here can actually come off, and they attach to the side. You have a little clip here. This actually attaches to the side of the arm like so, and on this side as well. If I can clip it in, oops. Yeah, see, this thing, it's so huge, it's hard to even like maneuver in one hand. I got a little piece of the car carrier Resha that fell off. Let me put this back into place. All right, so this thing clips in like that. Okay. So there you have that. So this is kind of neat to have like this is like a blaster here essentially. And yeah, so this is essentially the final form. This is him all ready to go, ready to fire this giant brick. You know, pros and cons. I mean, I think if you're trying to, you know, collect everything, obviously, you know, if you're trying to collect everything, you'd want this as well. And I think, depending on how much you like trains, it may or may not be worth it. Because I like the train mode. I think that big train looks pretty sweet, and having that on display would look epic. This mode on display, kind of lame. I don't like this design. I'm just being honest. I just don't. I think there's so much more that I could have done with it. So it's kind of hit or miss. It's, you know, it's going to be up to you whether you think it's worth it or not. But I think they definitely missed out on some great possibilities with this final combination. That being said, you can try and come up with your own combinations if you want. You can put whatever Resha on here, and I don't even know. You could try and do something with it and see how creative you could get with whatever other combination you could do, but that's that. Just for comparison's sake, I have the, what is this, Safari Gao, I think is what it's named. Basically same size as Tokyo. It's not really a fair comparison. Let me just kind of sit it down. You're not going to be able to see the bottom of them, but you'll see height-wise the difference there. It's roughly, let me get the legend. This is the legendary Megazord from Super Mega Force. Now it's slightly taller, but I guess you could say roughly the size of two legendary Megazords, roughly. The size of two legendary Megazords on top of each other is kind of the size that you're going to get right there. So do keep that in mind. So anyways, this is it. This is the Deluxe Hyper Resha Teo. This is the final combination. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you have any questions, post them there and I'll try and answer them for you. But that's that. Here's the final combination. It's pretty huge, pretty heavy. The train itself looks great. This final combination, not so much, but it is what it is. So that's that. I hope you guys enjoyed. That's not the end of my ToQger reviews, though. I do have more coming. I do have a special other set. I forget what it's called, but it's like some tracks that like light up or something for the main ToQger Resha coming soon, I think. And I may get the Dark Liner, I think it's called, the evil train that they have, so I may get that as well. I'll have to see. So there might be some more stuff on the way, but this is the last main item to review essentially. So that's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later.